right? Or adults, or you don't have enough role models. So how can you potentially find one? Why might that be useful to you? Well, again, it gives you potentially a path forward in life. So instead of feeling anxious about the future, you could say, hey, I'd like to be more like this person because of X, Y, Z. What did they do that you admire? So maybe there's an athlete, you really appreciate their work, their work ethic. Okay. Maybe it's their parent, you appreciate how kind they are. Maybe it's a friend or a colleague, I don't know, some of you might work, and you appreciate that they actually listen. So who could you be in the future? Because you really get to decide that on your own, right? And you get to pursue that on your own. And again, that's about helping you to move forward in life, taking steps forward, having more progress in who you are and who you're becoming. There's some lifestyle questions there as well. You know, it's things to consider. So how can you use this next 2 to 3 years to set up whatever lifestyle you want to have after you're done high school, when you can live on your own? You know, for some people, they want to move out. Like I knew kids like this or friends like this when I was growing up. They wanted to move out as soon as they were 18, but they didn't want to get a job. You know, so how do those two things go hand in hand? Right? If you don't have any money to live on your own, how are you supposed to move out at 18? Or how are you supposed to move into whatever city you want to go to? Some of the questions later on in the assignment might be challenging for you to answer at this age, but I encourage you to try your best. What's something that you're passionate about? Like how many of you find it very easy to get out of bed in the morning and go to school? I have a pretty easy time, right? And so figure out like what is it about school that draws you to that, right? For me, a lot of the times as a student, it was, well, I get to go see my friends. I like my teachers. I had many awesome teachers in high school, and I enjoy learning. And so those three things got me out of bed to school. Now, admittedly, I went late often to school, right? But what is it that gets you passionate, that flows easily, right? How many of you were excited to go to volleyball tryouts last night? You raise your hands, you were excited, that's good, right? So volleyball flows easily for you, right? Maybe it's a passion, maybe you want to get involved in coaching, like your current coach is Coach Hoger. Is she coaching the season? She's coaching the high school, right? So she played volleyball here. Clearly that's a passion of hers. Now she coaches, doesn't she also coach the, I think Miss Rantucci was saying she coaches the Black Gold volleyball? Okay, so she coaches a club team. I should be asking you, it's your sister. She coaches a club team and the school team, and she played here, right? So clearly volleyball is a passion, and it's provided her opportunities of learning and growth, right? Some of you, it might be music, it might be computer sciences, it could be aviation. We have that program going on now as well. It might be something that's not even related to school, but what are you passionate about? What flows easily for you? That, you know, you don't have to hit yourself with a stick, metaphorically, to get yourself to work hard at it. Maybe it's video games, right? How can you make that into an advantage? What can you learn, right? And so some of the questions on the last few pages are a little bit more long-term, okay? And it's good to start thinking now. It's not unreasonable. You know, who do you want to be when you're done high school? What do you want to be doing as well, right? And when I say that, you know, you don't need to have it finalized, set in stone, right? Maybe you have an idea. I mean, when I was in high school for some time, I thought, well, I'll be a police officer when I'm done. And then I watched this movie called End of Watch, and I thought, wow, there's no way I'd want to do that. I had other friends, they watched the same movie, they thought, wow, that's exactly why I want to be a police officer. For those of you who don't know, this is a very violent cop movie. I don't know if anyone's seen it. You've seen this movie?
Yeah.
There's some pretty gnarly scenes in there. End of Watch, right? But potentially telling yourself like, hey, you know, I'd like to consider this. At least then your mind is thinking about, so maybe you want to go into trade school. Maybe you want to be a welder. Okay, well, who do I know that's a welder? Who can I ask for more information about how to do this? Right? I didn't teach this young man, but this guy, he went to the school a couple years ago, and he was going into engineering school. And I asked him, like, hey, do you know anyone who's I think he was a civil engineer. I asked him, do you know anyone who's a civil engineer? He said, no, not really. Like, my dad's friend is a civil engineer. Okay, that's strange. Well, why do you want to be a civil engineer? Oh, well, my dad said that, you know, his friend's job was really good and he got paid well. So the influence of this complete stranger, right? And it wasn't a strong connection, right? So this person didn't know anyone in this industry and was going into that, and has now moved out of engineering school because slowly started realizing, like, hey, this isn't what I want to be doing. It's not what I enjoy. Okay, so asking those questions now is going to help you to figure out who you want to be, what you would like to be as you move forward into the future. And to finish off, just reminding yourself that, you know, these plans can change. They're not set in stone, but having a plan is better than having no plan. Having something to move forward to is better than having nothing to move forward to and staying stagnant where you are. Okay. So I'll give you some time to finish this assignment.